You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What up, film fans? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 392. Welcome to Raging Bull. You're listening to another new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan. I am joined by the cast, the crew, the good fellas. Zach, what up?
I think you mean just good fella. Oh, Lord. Spoiler alert.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. Back by popular demand, quite literally. We've got Ed back. How is that doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad, had to kick it once more, It's been a long time. Very long time.
It's only
Missed y'all.
Since the Happy Gilmore 2 episode.
Which has probably been, I was about to say, like 6 months plus. Actually, 7. No, 8. Holy crud. Tomorrow, 8 years, or 8 months.
I mean, we're approaching 8 years if you want to get down to fitness. What a joy. What a day to have Ed back on. We're sitting here, we're talking Raging Bull. Fellas, how's your week been? Zach?
Doing well. Just a typical day in the neighborhood. What about you guys?
Can't complain, man. Just took this week off. Supposed to go to Florida, but other things happened, so I am still at home. We're gonna do some things around the house, so had a bit of free time off this week. And when you said, hey, stuff's going on, I was like, okay, you know what? Fine. I want to. I feel like it.
Stuff is going on. Your boy's free this week, just let you know. It's been a good week, man. I'm always excited to hop on and talk movies with you fellas. Other than that, let's dig into business. If you guys did not join us last week, go back and listen to us in the archives. We had a brilliant episode all about The Godfather Part 3. We wrapped up that trilogy. And Zach, it was interesting knowing that movie was not on IMDb's top 250 list, but it is what it is. Go back to that episode, to all of our episodes through our social media links. Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram, all one word, /Cine-Men Movie Podcast, X Cinnamon405, email at CINEMEN921 @gmail.com. Hit us up in there. You can also find all the links to the past episodes and some links to some newer episodes. With all the action and activeness that's going on TikTok, I should put the TikTok up there soon too.
I've been seeing it all over, man. I'm liking whatever video comes across me, bro.
Man, I'm trying, man. It's starting to be fun. I've noticed
you're doing a lot too.
Yeah, there's hardly any pushback on Sunday, so I realized Sunday is my day off, probably.
Like your little. You've been doing the usual typical trending things, like the little gray monkey dude and the elephant trunks just dancing and stuff like that. I've seen you.
All that stuff will be updated probably by next episode. But all the social media is right there. If you're watching us live, thank you. We are live on Facebook and in Raw Productions YouTube channel. And then if you're listening to us, man, you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts at: iHeartRadio, Pandora, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Spotify. You can also find us on prescribedfilms.com. That's the Prescribed Films Network, #PFPN. There you can find us. You can find the Movie Defenders, Attack of the Killer Podcast, Placktastic, all that good stuff. If I butchered any names, I'm sorry. You can send me some hate mail, or we can box. That's what we're
talking about. Like, what are you not on is shorter.
Yeah. Talking about
I'm
med?
just saying.
No.
That's good.
So yeah, if you can find us if you like I said, if you can find us, listen to us. We were approaching year number 8, and we're approaching episode 400. Episode 400 is just a few weeks away, which should be pretty interesting. Zach, but let's get into some recent watches. Kind of one of the main focuses on why I wanted to pull Edward aside, but we can talk about it in just a little bit. So for now, Zach, what did you get into this week, and what do you recommend?
Yeah. So I talked about Project Hail Mary last week, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I just want to make sure. It's been kind of a slow week. I finished Mandalorian season 1. Probably going to start season 2 here in a little bit to get ready for the movie. I started the Ted show on Peacock. That's it's a spin-off, the prequel, I guess you would say. Is it funny? Yeah. I laughed a few times. If you like the movies, I think you'll like the show. And then I guess go ahead and I'm trying to work ahead of the schedule. Watch next week's episode, La La Land, and then Forrest Gump the week after. La La Land is on Prime, and Forrest Gump is on Paramount Plus. So go check those out.
Nice. Paramount Plus. And Zach, like Edward said on the TikTok deal, I am hashtagging everything Paramount, Sony, Warner Brothers. I have to get us a physical media deal, some kind of sponsorship. Criterion Channel. I'm hashtagging all y'all. So get on with your boys and listen to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, because if you're not who's anybody, like if you're under a rock, you're not listening to us. Am I right?
I think
it's always a Patrick.
I think he's trying to finally get our Scorsese interview that we've been trying since day one.
Hey, speaking of, but no, episode 400 is approaching rapidly. We have the entire month of April coming up, and we have the entire month of May before we talk episode 400 this year. We've had episode 100 celebration, 200, 300. This year, episode 400 is actually Mandalorian, Star Wars movie. So I think it's going to be a fitting episode. It's going to be a fun conversation going back to the theater. Mandalorian, Grogu, Star Wars. I can't be more excited for episode 400. That is week 4 in the May schedule, so that should be fun. Ed, man, there's a main reason why I wanted to bring you on. We're going to talk about it here in just a minute, but okay. What have you been kind of hanging out and watching? Anything? You don't have to, mention 8 months of watching, but anything have caught your eye?
Start from the minute you ended the last show, and then go forward. There you
go. Not too much, honestly. Catching a lot of the trailers, different stuff like that, of course. Catching a few different old movies, kind of. Can't wait for Scream, because I know it just 7. I know it just came out on digital. I know you've seen it, Juan. I don't know if you've seen it, Zach, but well, yeah, y'all did the episode of it, so of course you've seen it. But looking forward to that. Talk to you a little bit about it, and here and there, shaky, but we'll see. Like we've always said, form your own opinion, even if someone else hates it. It is what it is. So I've watched several different Screams. I've watched several different, like The Faculty. I've watched that one. I know you introduced me to that one when we were kids. It is. There's a bunch of them. I still know, or I Know What You Did Last Summer. Blah 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 blah. Like I think I got to 3 or 4 of them. Then I did watch this on Amazon Prime, for that matter, just the other night. Sunday night, so there's that as well. So it was on that, not only YouTube, but yes. So yeah, I haven't been doing a lot, but just kind of hop, skipping, and jumping. Not necessarily a set list, just random watches.
Hey, we appreciate the hop sketch. Also, don't forget, I want to give a big shout out in just a few weeks. Sunday night, April 12th. I'll have the opportunity. Zach, I don't know who's joining me for that episode. I don't know but I'll have the opportunity to interview Gregory Pelletrio. I hope I'm not butchering your name. If so, I'm sorry. I'm going to be reviewing and talking all about Moments of Youth, independent film that you can now catch and available on Amazon Prime, Tubi, YouTube. So go check it out. It's a comedy, Moments of Youth, starring Carrie O'Terry, John Farley, Gary Pastor, Betsy Butler. So go check that movie out. It's been going all over the independent scene, also at the New York Film Festival in New York City. So go check it out. And we're going to interview actor, director, writer, April 12th, that Sunday evening. But as far as some recent watches for me, I do want to recommend. I checked out Peter Rabbit. I'm getting ready for Easter. I got the kids hanging out. I watched She's Gotta Have It. It's a little Spike Lee film from the 80s. Not bad. Zach, because you put me on that Martin Scorsese documentary, I am just bull rushing through some Scorsese
filmography.
Yeah, I checked out Taxi Driver, Mean Streets a few weeks ago. After Hours. I've also went through Raging Bull, of course, for today. Also checked out The Color of Money this past week. So that's kind of what I've been through. If I had to recommend anything, hit up Netflix. She's Got to Have It on Netflix. It is leaving soon. I'm always recommending Spike Lee. Other than that, I think Anaconda. I talked about Anaconda last week with Jack Black. It's a good little laugh. It hits Netflix this week as well. So yeah, go check everything out. All right, guys. The main reason I wanted all of us OGs to get together is because the Harry Potter trailer dropped. It's the first Harry Potter trailer of year one, book one. It is released in December, and right now, as of now, December is packed.
Yeah,
absolutely stuffed like the holiday turkey. You have the Harry Potter series. You have Dune Part 3. You have Doomsday. Not to mention all the other Oscar films that might pop up, and then some Disney. Disney puts out films in Christmas time as well. So
yeah,
December is absolutely packed right now. But I wanted to mention to you guys, we're live. We're 13 minutes into the episode. It's just a trailer. Calm down. But if you want to go check it out, go watch the trailer. Come back to us, because we are talking about a 40-some-odd-year-old movie, I think, if my math is correct. But anyway,
sir,
the trailer is Harry Potter. Guys, what do you think? Zach, I'm going to switch it over to you, and I want you to direct and steer the ship. Do you want my opinion first, or Mr. Potter himself? Edward is coming to us live from as we speak. So take it away, guys.
He's camping out at an AMC right now to get ready for a Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's okay. So, you know what? I'm just going to give.
Before you get into it, you are the one who in a conversation, you were like, man, I got to have his opinion.
Yeah.
I need him. I want Ed on. I had to write a big fat check to him, but
right. He hasn't got his bonus yet for the year, so this is what dragged him in.
You were holding out, man.
No, like Johnny said on the outset, we wanted to get your opinion. Ed, you're the in-house scholar of all Harry Potter, so this is. I really didn't think that this was going to come out till next year, but they dropped the trailer and say, hey, it's coming out either Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, somewhere around that time. Yeah, just like I said, you're the Harry Potter fan on here. I like Harry Potter as well, but I think you're probably a little bit more versed in it than I am. Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on this little 2-minute trailer?
Nostalgic, fresh, and hopeful. Those are the 3 words I'd use straight out of the gate, for that matter. You have John Lithgow, who looks wonderful as Dumbledore. You've got, I've got Nick Frost. It kind of looks like a Hagrid who's been through a lot. He looks like a Hagrid who's been through the trenches. He doesn't look like a Hagrid that's been through a lot of animals. He looks like a Hagrid that's battle hardened. Jeanette McTeer, dude. So far, she is my favorite. All respect to Maggie, Dame Maggie Smith, of course. But Jeanette McTeer is going to be, in my eyes, that little bridge because she looks so good as McGonagall. It's insane. Now the literal bridge, the true actual bridge, is Warwick Davis returning as Professor Phileas Flitwick. I am extremely overjoyed that they brought him back and didn't, just say and because even 20 years older, he's still good for that character. You've got Johnny Flynn as Lucius Malfoy, who, funny enough, won't probably be anything other than dropping off Draco. So we'll see on that. You don't really see anything about the girl named Ginny, other than just in reflection of the train, and that's it. But as far as the Golden Trio goes, I can't be any more excited about those three. It's kind of cool just to see the differences that are there. Like Alistair, he doesn't seem as brushed, as polished as Rupert Grint was. Not saying that Rupert Grint was just primed and proper, but he seems like he might be from a home that's got so much going on, it's insane, and then just a set of parents who's trying to do their best. The twins, the Heartland twins, they look awesome together, and with the pick for Percy, with the pick for Ginny, and with the pick for Ron, of course. And I'll tell you, this stuff isn't in the actual trailer, but the fact that we're getting Professor Binns means that they're digging deep, truly deep on this. Madam Hooch, she looks great. Garrick Ollivander looks great. I would say, what is his name? I haven't seen his name yet. Vernon, okay. Daniel Rigby. He doesn't. That would be one of my few gripes. Daniel Rigby kind of. He's supposed to be Vernon, Uncle Vernon, and he's not as portly as big.
the other actor,
Richard Griffiths.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not necessarily that he just needs to be a big old chonker over there, but it's just like Vernon's described as a portly man, a big man, so he's thinner than what I thought, for that matter. Catherine Parkinson as Molly Weasley looks fantastic. Can't wait for her small rendition in the first one, at least, because they play smaller. A lot of those play smaller parts, for that matter, in the first movie. And then as it progresses and as the kids get older, they start to kind of, get into everything. They say they're changing up a few things. I'm not sure what they're changing up. I haven't heard anything released. I've heard a couple of origin stories are being changed. That's the biggest thing. But as far as the trailer goes, like I said, nostalgia is the first thing that comes to mind easily.
I got two things I wanted to ask you guys. One, this will be big for HBO Max, obviously. There have been so many comments on YouTube said, "I'll be in my room, not making no noise and pretending I don't exist on Christmas Day to watch the show."
Yeah.
It will get viewership.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it will? Do you think it will have the critical reception that the films have, and do you honestly think that we will go all the way for 7 seasons to do all the books?
It's got enough power behind it to go through 7 seasons easily. The do all be all will, to me, unfortunately leans on 3 11-year-olds. Not unfortunately, I think they're up to the task.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of pressure being compared.
We just seen 2 minutes. We've seen a photo release of him, and literally 2 minutes of footage. We can't base. Oh, he's not like Daniel Radcliffe, so we're gonna, we're not gonna accept. We don't know, until we watch it.
even Daniel himself came on and was like, "Quit comparing us to these kids. These kids
They're
need to
different.
flesh themselves out. They are a whole different group. They're a whole different set. Grow up with them. Let them grow and flesh out and have as much fun as we did." Tom Felton has, gone up and lent his number to the young boy that is playing Draco, for that matter, and said, "If you do need any advice on kind of how I did things, say what's up. If you don't,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I can't wait to see what you got."
Well,
You know,
and
so
that leads me into the next question of, unfortunately, we're trying to make this a much more diverse of cast. Snape is played by a black actor, and Hermione is going to be, looks like, mixed race.
mhm,
The actor who plays Snape has gotten, and this is terrible. Like,
yeah.
he's gotten death threats. He's gotten, hey, you should be canceled. You should, lose the role. Are we really making a big deal that we're going to change one of the characters to a different race?
So here's
Is that going to
here's
change
that.
anything?
Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and be as unbiased and as devil's advocate as I can on this. Plain and simple. Papa Asidu is a wonderful actor. All three of us have seen things that he's in. He is a fantastic actor. So it is not on his credentials at all. It's actually aimed more towards the story that it is actually. I say this, but a lot of biased fans are aiming towards, can't believe they did this, and how dare you accept this role and all this. Alan Rickman, you should have gotten Adam Driver. Adam Driver does look like a younger Alan Rickman, that's true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you aren't part of the casting call. You aren't part of the casting, decisions. It is what it is on that. So here's my thing. It does change up some of the story. The story is okay. Snape does not like Harry. He looks exactly like his father did from their childhood. His father was an a-hole towards him, and James Potter was an a-hole towards Severus Snape. And he punked and bullied Snape a lot because of him thinking that Snape was a very wicked person, was a youth that basically kind of like Malfoy was way too privileged and didn't deserve what he had, is what James thought, until Lily got involved in it. And then Lily kind of, was like, "This is my friend," and James kind of got interested in Lily, on and on and on. One thing that a lot of people are talking about that is going to be a detrimental scene later on down the road, they're probably going to change this. However, it's not as detrimental as it sounds. He did hang Severus Snape up by the ankle through magic on a tree, and he basically took his pants off, so he untrousered him. Essentially, is what they call it.
I think that's in the fifth book. Yeah,
when they're practicing legilimens, yes. So there's a lot that is going to go on later on down the road, and I get diversity and all that. I honestly think he would have been the best choice for Kingsley Shacklebolt. To be honest, he fits that character insanely well. But the fact is he does look good in the costume. He seems he seems good on camera and all that good stuff. We know he's a good actor. The one thing that I will be very upset about is this. He better bring that shit whenever he comes in. Because if he doesn't go after Harry with the intensity that Snape is portrayed with, not only in the movie, but in the book as well, that will be either the make it or break it area right there. And if he does not, and it's just, well, Harry's a privileged, little boy, and he doesn't deserve this, and I can't believe, that will kill it. That will kill it all right there. It will make that such a horrible thing. But on the other side of this coin, it offers other things towards this story that shouldn't even be remotely in this story at all. It offers a bit of racism because, don't get me wrong, Harry, a white boy, comes in and the person who's not his color, not his race, all of a sudden you're something wrong with this school.
Yeah.
Not that he's a part of the dark arts, not a part of someone that harmed his own family. Is what Harry seems to think, because his understanding is that someone up there is making me hurt. I don't know what it is, but my scar is affecting me, and it's something up there I can tell, but I don't know what, who, or why. So with Snape looking exactly like what a dark wizard would look like, whether Alan Rickman or Papa Asidu, he is like, that guy is what's going on. Snape's glare, Snape's staring, Snape's cold eyes that just seem like they grab your soul from the depths of hell and offer it to you on the silver platter.
I'm gonna answer those questions again, like real quick. I love the way Edward went into like detail as far as like each character, each question, and of course he knows way more about it than I do. But watching the outcome of the trailer from a movie standpoint, guy, I think it's kind of a disgrace that the actor would go through so much scrutiny. And I feel like he wouldn't have probably went through that much scrutiny maybe if Alan Rickman was still alive to back him up. Because I think Alan Rickman for sure would have backed him up just like anybody else would have.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think it's like you're taking the voice away from Alan Rickman.
I will say, like, when I watched the trailer, I was just like, I was like excited to see it, and I was just like, okay, this actually looks pretty good. I was hesitant about, oh, just like a money grab. Like, the first movie literally turns 25 years old this year. And so in my brain, I'm like, why are we doing this? It's not like it's a 50-year-old movie or anything.
But I think you have to do it. You have to introduce these to a whole new generation. And it's not like it's been, just 5 years. You said it's been almost 26 years.
Well, since 2012 when the last movie.
So
you're
2011.
You're introducing a live action version to a whole new audience. I think it's completely fine. And it's not a complete reboot. It's not an exact side-by-side reboot of a movie. They're doing it as a TV show. So they're not only, they're more worried about bringing in the original book audience than they are the people who love the movies.
That's what they're saying. But the thing is
follow in, and then that's fine.
That's what they're saying, but they are changing up several things apparently. Like I said, I've heard several different theories. I've never seen something significantly just, in there. You didn't get a ton of Harry in Muggle schools. So there's that. That was just in the trailer. That's all I'm seeing. I'm comparing what I know from the books to what I've seen in the trailer. But at the same time, a lot of people that are book, over enthusiasts, have been basically hating on a lot of the movies just because he doesn't have green eyes and this, that. And they didn't even include Peeves the Poltergeist. Yeah, true, but there's a lot of different reasons why. They went on record why. Daniel couldn't take the contacts they couldn't, agree with his eyes. So they were like, you know what, screw it, whatever. But
at the end of the day, you're never going to please everybody.
No.
So in order for them to do this and do it successfully, guess what? I think the show could even be mediocre, and it's still going to be a huge success. So
yeah.
That being said, I think HBO Max is smart. It gives them out there in the streaming battle world. It also gives them like just top dog rights. Like, oh, they're coming out, they're pulling out the Harry Potter guns. Like, that's what that is doing for them as a streaming service.
Because don't get me wrong, it's on the level of Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or different things like that. It's huge, and if you release toys and you release costumes, you release props, you release, different stuff like that, different book versions, different, of that, it can get insane. Don't get me wrong, there's a ton of stuff that is more like female oriented as in accessories or clothes and all. Huh?
Zach is
Oh.
muted.
No, what I was going to say was, and we'll move on to Raging Bull here in a minute. Looking at the episode, the amount of episodes, you have 8. The first season, the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone here in America, it's going to have 8 episodes. So you have 8 hours to tell, extend the story and do whatever you want with it. So that's, to me, as like, the first movie is like 2.5 hours long. 8 hours, you could do a whole bunch of stuff,
Word is that they are calling it Philosopher's Stone officially.
Yeah.
So they only changed that because they thought we didn't understand what a philosopher was or would mess up that definition, I guess.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of weight in this class, or cast, I should say. A lot of weight in this cast for this to go insanely well. Think about just John Lithgow. Think about what he's been in. Warwick Davis, let alone the actual Harry Potters, but Paul Whitehouse, who plays Argus Filch, the caretaker. I'm not saying he's like the greatest ever, but Nick Frost, he comes through with a lot of different experience. Catherine Parkinson as well. There's a ton of different stuff in here, or different people in here that come through with a lot of good stuff.
I had on the cast when I first saw it, but watching the trailer, everything looked really good. Everything sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we kind of,
we'll just have to wait and see. Comes out, we only have like 6 about 6 to 8 months to wait. Amongst, like you said, Doomsday and Doom Part 3 and 50 other movies that come out that month. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Harry Potter and the Raging Bull. Bull is what we're getting to today. If you guys have not checked it out, like Ed said, you can go check it out on Prime Video, Mubi. It is also free on YouTube. So go check it out. Pluto TV, Tubi. We're checking out the life of a boxer, Jake LaMotta, whose violence and temper that led him to the top of the ring destroyed his outside life. Directed by Martin Scorsese. Nominated for 8 Oscars. It won 2 Oscars. Starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Kathy Moriarty, Frank Vincent, Teresa Saldana, Nicholas Costino, Mario Gallo, Frank Adonis. Again, based off the book and directed by Martin Scorsese, with an IMDb rating of 8.1, Rotten Tomato of 92%, a Metascore of 90%, and a Letterboxd of 4.2 out of 5. Zach, this is Edward. Both our theme this year is IMDb's top 250. This is ranked number 186 out of 50. And this is one of the movies yet to discuss on that list. With a budget of $18 million, it grossed a little over $24 million at the box office. Ed, we'll start with you. Do you remember the first time you seen it, or was this your first time viewing it for the episode?
First time seeing it, for that matter.
Nice. Zach, what about you? Do you remember the first time you seen it? What was it like, or was this your first time, or what was it like revisiting it?
I had to go back in my notebook of film watching and go back and see where I saw it. 2017, first time I saw it, so about 9 years ago. And this is my second actual full rewatch since then. So, what about you?
Nice. This is probably like my third full-time watch of it. Probably like in and out, probably five or six. Let's dig into it, man. This movie came out December 19th, 1980. Raging Bull, this came out 6 years after Rocky. Everybody's like, Martin Scorsese doing a boxing movie. Don't get it. Can't see how it does. What do you guys think? First thoughts as soon as the movie was over.
I mean, my takeaway, we had talked about a couple weeks ago the Mr. Scorsese documentary on Apple TV Plus. Me and Johnny both really enjoyed it, and I think you'd like it too, honestly, since you like his movies. Honestly, I was excited to rewatch it. There was a lot on that documentary about him at the time he was not a boxing fan. He really didn't want to do a boxing movie, but he just went to a match just to check it out and really thought, okay, this could be an interesting movie. And then he got the rights to the Jake LaMotta book. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I don't really remember my first time watching it, but the second time, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed in it, to be honest. I just wasn't like it's you probably, a lot of people consider this as top 5 filmography, and I didn't see it this time. I don't know if it was just because of the pacing of it or just the black and whiteness of the cinematography. I thought the cinematography was really well done. Obviously, it won for the Oscar, but it was kind of a drag to get through on this time.
That's disappointing. I don't know why. To me, the pacing was like complete opposite. Like, I enjoyed the pacing. It was only like an hour and something, not very long at all, like some of his other movies had been before and after. I thought the performances were just like top notch. Like you said, cinematography won an Oscar. When I was in film class and drama class in high school and middle school, like, honestly, this is one of the films they showed when it came to perfect cinematography. I think this movie is much more than just a boxing movie if you're looking at it from the inside.
Yeah.
I think this has to do with men's mental health. I think this has to do with CTE before it was even a thing. I think this has to do with that old school style of toxic machismo into a relationship that's not healthy for anybody. I think this has to do with control from both the male and the female aspects. I think this movie has everything sprinkled into it, and then when you introduce boxing into the movie, you're like, dang, Robert De Niro can go. Like the fighting shots of him and Sugar Ray and just him against anybody. Honestly, like, I thought the fighting sequences in this movie were just as good, if not better, than Rocky, and I'm going to get into about that because I feel like this was more of a horror aspect when it came to Robert De Niro's head getting punched in and punched out, if you will.
Yeah.
If I had to go ahead and give it a first small take, honestly, I'm kind of with Zach. It dragged, man. There was times where I would pause it and just see where it's at, and I'd be like, okay, hour 12, cool. Go on, and it's hour 40, and it seems like it's been an hour and a half, and I'm just like, how in the hell is this still going? And I first time seeing it, it just, sometimes it would be, just zipping, and sometimes it would slow to a snail's pace, man. It just, I don't know, especially
What's the biggest scenes you guys had that like just was like, man, this scene is dragging, or why am I watching this scene? What does this have to do with?
I would say a lot before the cheating scandal was found out. It just kind of, here's a match, drag, 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 drag. Here's a match, drag, 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 drag. Here's a match, drag, drag, cheat, match, 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 match. And it was like, holy shit, what happened here? Because then you go to the brothers' story and all that. It's like, okay.
See, I'm gonna take the opposite effect of that. Is I thought the boxing sequences were kind of, other than the Sugar Ray Robinson one, where it's like filmed in the style of Psycho, the shower sequence almost. The character drama of Jake like falling in love with Vicky, but then like having this toxic obsession with the fear of her having an affair. That's what drove the movie. And I think, obviously the movie it's called Raging Bull, like you said, Johnny, it's much more than boxing. I think this is a story about someone who can't control his rage. He thinks he can control it.
Who can't control his mental health.
But he thinks he can control it with boxing, but then when he's outside the boxing, he has nothing to hold him back. And so he goes down this spiral of hatred and obsession with Vicky, and it just like seeps into everything that he knows and cares about, including his brother.
Because he's somebody who is just inside his head 24/7.
Yeah.
Even the like one of the first scenes where you can just start telling automatically when he's with the ex-wife and the steak scene where he's like, no, put it on the plate now. You're going to ruin it. You can turn it into a piece of charcoal. Like that right there going from 0 to 60 shows, again, not only just raging, but like he's in his own head about her cooking his dinner. You know what I mean? And then the whole concept with his brother, like, no, hit me harder. Take the glove off. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised because those are some scenes like when it comes to Vicky, like I thought those are some of the best scenes in the movie. The fighting sequences, Sugar Ray had like really good fighting sequences, but even some of the ones that like were kind of just thrown in there to show that how much of a rage boxer he is, like the one with the I can't remember his full name, but the pretty guy where he's like, oh, he ain't pretty no more.
Yeah, Tony Gennaro, where he literally disfigures him from like looking at his wife at a different weird angle.
Right, but then you also get the movie looking at De Niro's point of view. Joey is trying to bring in Bob and let him control, you know, the aspect of the boxing world for Jake LaMotta, and you're just like you're wrapping your hands around this story and just like that seems to be the easiest thing to do is just to let them control the stress, the fights. All you got to do is cut weight, and he cannot cut weight. He can't keep weight for anything. So the fact that he's like practicing with his brother and he's like, hey, get them out of here. I'm the one killing myself in here, not them. And he doesn't want anything to do with the mob to make it easier. To me, that also makes the film like, I don't know. To me, it just drives me when you're telling somebody that you don't want to take the easy road and you're just like, I'm going to do it my way. But I also think him doing it his way led to his downfall.
It's more a lot of it because don't get me wrong, eventually whether he made it into fruition or whether it was going to be led to fruition, either way, it didn't matter. He essentially either pushed it or led it down that road. He seemed like a person who didn't have very much in his life that he felt secure with. So with that, you go ahead and put that on any and everybody else, including cutting weight and stuff like that. It's kind of volatile, just putting all that pressure on yourself. You can't trust anybody because you're not sure if you're going to go ahead and get screwed, if you're going to go ahead and, and I mean, every single fight for the first bit seemed like I'm losing. So it made him lose confidence in his team. And then everything personal hit even harder. And it's just that, it's these people doing it to me. Obviously, there's something in here that I'm not being told, I'm not being cut in on. So how can I trust these people to lead me down the right path for my legacy or for my career or, whatever he's looking at it as. It kind of messes with you a lot. So you try to take things into your own hand, but when you don't understand half of it, because you haven't been doing it, I don't know, it kind of turns into this.
I thought that Joe Pesci,
amazing.
He's really good in this. I just feel like he plays the same character. This, Goodfellas, Casino, a little bit of The Irishman. It's kind of the same. Irishman, he's a little bit more tamed in that one, but it's kind of like the same, like crazy, don't get me started character.
Kind of a typecast for that.
Well, it goes off that whole New York style, but it also, like, to me, I found it the opposite. He's the most calm in this movie. He only goes over the rail when he's pushed. He never yells or screams until he's being pushed by Jake, when he's being pushed by Vicky. You know what I mean? Or when he's being pushed by like the bar scene.
Well, yeah, like when he's trying to get Vicky out of the bar with the other, I'm assuming he's one of the gang, the mafia people. He goes off. I mean, it was like, that's textbook. That's that character from unhinged character from Goodfellas.
You also got like some really terrific one-liner here that it just stands the test of time, like in movie history. Like when Pesci's talking about you need to cut weight, but you're also like, if you lose, it's fine because you're worried about this match over here as well. So when he says, if you win, you win. If you lose, you still win. Like, who has not ever heard that before? And then when you have like the line of he finally loses to Sugar Ray, and his face is like completely plastered up, and he's like can't see, could barely walk. He never went down, and he goes over the ring. He's like, "Hey Ray, you never got me down, Ray. You hear? You never got me down." Like I hear that every single time, and I just close my eyes, whether it's a spoof or whether it's from actual Raging Bull. I'm like, yeah,
I thought one of the more like softer moments of this movie was when they're just sitting on the couch and he literally, Jake turns to his brother and said, "Did you sleep with my wife?" And I like Pesci's performance in that because he legitimately feels hurt. Like, why would you ask me a question like that? Like he would. I think in that moment I think that's the thing that really like that was the start of the crack in the relationship, and it just progressed by that point.
Because it was so bad that you're just like, Pesci's like, man, that question is so absurd. I'm not even going to answer it. Even if he just said no, it would have calmed Jake down a little bit, and it probably would have escalated. He would have de-escalated the situation by just saying no.
And then instead, he proceeds to go to his house during dinner and beats the holy hell out of him.
Yeah, and you know what? For this kind of being one of her first movies, the actress who played Vicky, which she also was in Casper, which we talked about this past October, I think she nailed it. I think she did like a really good job for her to play a 15-year-old, which, like I said, I just got done watching Taxi Driver as well. In a few weeks, we talk about Taxi Driver. I don't know what Martin Scorsese has with an obsession of a 15-year-old, but kind of weirded me out there a little bit, bro. But so for that being in the situation where she has to play a 15-year-old, I'm like, I think she did pretty good. There's a few scenes that I would like cut her in and out. Her accent or the way she talks kind of has always gotten me. But I think in Raging Bull, like I said, there's only 2 scenes from her that I would cut. But I think she did a pretty good job for her, this being like her first film major role. So
yeah. Yeah, by the time we get to like, I like how there's like the title cards of like what year we're in. By the time we get to like the 1950s, I literally in my notes I just say paranoia and violence because it goes like off the rails by that point in his life.
Do you guys?
he's
so.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say he's just either going full on, or he's literally like you're needing to either knock me unconscious or you're needing to kill me. Like it's one of the three, and it's not. That's why, like the Sugar Ray Robinson fight, the horror film, take of it, because he's looking at him and he's just, got that stare, and it's just like, oh my god, like okay, and what's that stare? The
stare.
The what?
Like a hallucinogenic stare.
Kind of, but there's a movie director that Stanley Kubrick stare, and it's that kind of the deathly stare to where you go down and you stare up. This was almost the complete opposite of it, literally, and how gaunt his eyes looked underneath the dark circles underneath his eyes was just haunting. Because it almost looked like he's fighting a specter, like a ghost kind of thing.
Okay. Go back and he throws some Kubrick at us. Okay, that's a mentality we've missed.
But it's a stare that just I don't know, man. It was creepy the whole time. I'm like, is he having a freak out? Is this just a panic attack? And then when he's on the ropes, and he's like, "What are you?" Like yelling at him, "What are you doing? You come on!" Because he knows I can't beat you. I'm too tired. I'm too hurt. I can't beat you. So you better end me right now, or you better make me just go to sleep.
So I wanted to bring this point up too, because I know we're going to talk about Jake's last few decades of the movie where he's gained a lot of weight, his face is real banged up, and he's like a comedy club owner. He gets in trouble with the law a little bit. But what I wanted to bring up, and this always just made me love this freaking film so much more, and it's the fact that they talk about Marlon Brando's boxing
On the
movie
waterfront.
On the Waterfront,
Yeah.
which, if you ask me right now, dead set, best 3 boxing movies in movie history, it's going to be Raging Bull, On the Waterfront, and Rocky, like without a doubt. But for them to take that movie and to just talk about it, and he knows that that's his one-liner, like it makes you
sense.
feel, yeah, like it makes you feel like, okay, Scorsese not only just nailed this movie, but I feel like with everything he tried to touch, toxicity of relationships, masculinity, machismo, mental health, CTE, I feel like Martin Scorsese was 25 years ahead of his time. Like this movie probably would have just dominated everywhere. And I know you're going to say, oh, what about Rocky? It came out before and it won the Oscar and it did all these great things and it led it to be a big franchise. Yes, that's true. But Raging Bull dealt with so much more on a personal level. And, you know, Rocky is a love story mixed with boxing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Raging Bull is a mental health movie with boxing mixed in it.
Well, I mean, when it was first released, I mean, it got mixed reviews. I mean, De Niro's performance and the editing were widely acclaimed, but it was the violent content outside the boxing that people just at the time in 1980 they just did not like.
I think a lot of it had to deal with both him and her being extremely toxic to each other, especially after a while when she got more fed up with it. You know, kind of a silly point for that matter, but later on, he kind of looked to me like Marv from Sin City, facially.
Yeah.
Like, because I was just like, what the hell does he look like that for? And I'm just like, okay. And I was just like, that looks exactly off Sin City. I'm like, this looks like a precursor to it. I was just like, literally, like you said, 25 years before its time.
I could have been a contender.
But it was kind of just like, holy shit, okay. That's a difference. That's a heck of a different movie, you know, era to see it as.
And Zach's showing me that, you know, telling me about that Martin Scorsese documentary. If I didn't love this movie before that documentary makes you love this movie even more because of all the stuff that you find out Martin Scorsese was going through in his personal life.
Yeah.
Like the artist leaving the art, like he follows exactly what he was going through. Mental health meds, toxicity of relationships, marriages, failed marriages. Like, dude is doing work and he's putting out some of the best movies in history. And he's going through it in his personal life.
Well, not only that, I mean, he was heavily doing some cocaine during this when he was making this movie.
So, cocaine.
He's like, all that rage I want De Niro to have, Bobby, you got to have that rage.
Well, I mean,
honestly,
I will say that, you know, I guess we can jump towards the end when he gains the weight and is doing the nightclub stuff. I mean, De Niro put on like 70 pounds of like weight to do that.
Honestly, he probably felt a lot of, you know, parallels in his own life with that. So that's why he gravitated towards the story and wanted the rights to it so badly. Yeah. Probably after that, you know, the boxing, the story itself, his own personal life, and maybe even meeting Jake in real life.
Nominated for 8 Oscars, Zach. It won for 2. I know it won for cinematography. What else did it win for?
Actor for De Niro.
Oh, yeah, of course. Pesci got nominated, right? He just didn't win.
Yeah. And so did the actress who played Vicky.
Kathy Moriarty.
Yeah.
To me, that's interesting because even though I said she was good, I don't think she was Oscar worthy.
Yeah. This movie is like, I'm looking at his filmography. It's sandwiched, and you've done like a whole binge on his films since seeing the documentary. It's sandwiched in between. He did New York before this, and then The King of Comedy right after. So that's interesting.
Favorite scene? Ed, we'll start with you.
The Sugar Ray Robinson fight. That one was, I think, very choreographed very well. It was shot very well. The cinematography speaks for itself. The makeup speaks for itself. The feeling it gave you was a lot, man. horror, sadness, wanting him to come back. It threw you a lot of different ways and a lot of different punches.
Mine would probably be I enjoyed the scene where he was arguing with Vicky about how good looking the guy is. Like, why do you know? Why do you say that? And he told her to go to the other room, and Joe Pesci's like, man, you gotta stop. You gotta lay down. You gotta go say you're sorry, or your stuff like that. I think real life and movie wise, if he didn't have his brother there, I think he would have lost his life way, way, way earlier than he would have. I also enjoyed the scene where he calls his brother in the payphone and he just wants to hear his voice. And
he's cussing him out because he thinks it's like a prank call or something.
You can tell he's hurting. You can tell he misses that man. He misses that voice, and just the look that De Niro just brings to that. In movies that we appreciate so much, and the movies that they win these Oscars for, it's always in the eyes, and it's always in just the way they say the line before they say it. And De Niro is class act in this movie. And then my other favorite scene would probably be the sequences with Sugar Ray, and he never got me down. What about you, Zach?
I mean the final encounter with Sugar Ray Robinson, where it's like edited, like the psycho scene is really well done. I like how in the documentary we keep going back to that. Just go watch it; it's incredible. They kind of explain how they did like shot for shot remake of the shower sequence. Dude, so one thing we didn't even talk about, which I thought was probably what won him the Oscar, is a solitary confinement scene where he's just like he really at that point he figured out he really effed up his life, and it's just like going like
not an animal.
And then the brother reunion when he sees him on the street and like Joey barely hugs him, and it's like he just doesn't want him in his life anymore, and it's heartbreaking on a character level.
Most of those special features, most of the stuff that was on a documentary is also on this Criterion 4K of Raging Bull. There's like a complete disc of nothing but bonus features, plus the 4K, plus the Blu-ray has bonus features. So go check it out. It's very, very good. Star rating, I'm going to go first because I'm probably the only one, but I'm going to give this a 5. I think it's a top notch. I think the acting, the cinematography, the boxing sequences. If somebody right now was like, hey, show me the best boxing movie you've ever seen, it would be this. And On the Waterfront is a close second. So absolutely perfect movie. Absolute cinema. And if you want to watch it for anything, watch it for the performance by Mr. Robert De Niro. Just the best. Ed?
Honestly, man, I would have to say a 2.5. I'd have to say a 2.5, man. It just the dragging of it on and on and on. It just killed it. A lot of it that was good. Just in I don't know. It just kind of got depleted or diluted, for that matter, in my watch personally. So I'd say a 2.5.
Satch?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna give it a 3. To me, the rewatchability is just really not there. I don't know what I'll ever rewatch this again, but the acting, the cinematography, the fight sequences, the unrelenting just chaos of Jake LaMotta's life is really what drove the movie for me, and that's the part I enjoyed the most. Honestly, fun fact, I was looking at this while you guys were talking. Both Joey and Jake, the real Joey and Jake LaMotta, lived to be like each 95 years old, which is insane.
Yeah.
So let us know what you guys thought of Raging Bull. Go check it out. It's free. You can watch it wherever you stream those free movies. Tubi, Amazon. Go check it out. Let us know your thoughts on Raging Bull and your star rating, 1 out of 5. Next week, I'll go through the schedule. April week 2, we're talking all La La Land. Bonus episode after that, we're talking Moments of Youth with the director and the writer live on the show with us. Week 3 of April, we're talking Forrest Gump. And then we end, we still have April with American History X. Today feels like an April episode, but it's the last day of March. And then we end April with Kill Bill Volume 1, That's April, week 4. And then, man, May is just right around the corner as well. May, Michael, we also have week 2 is Stand By Me. Week 3, we're talking Taxi Driver, another Scorsese film. And then week 4 of May, we're talking The Mandalorian in a new episode, another new episode. All these episodes are brand new. New movies we haven't talked about as we dig into our IMDb top 250. So, yeah, should be a fun month. March is already gone, man. April starts literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
Zach, anything you want to add to Raging Bull before we get out of here and focus on La La Land?
No, I'm very super excited to talk about La La Land tomorrow. We watched it over the weekend, so I might be the high one on that one, and you guys be it's fine. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Ed, it's always a surprise, always great. I don't know when I'll see you again on an episode. Might be another streak. You might join us for the rest of the year. But Ed, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man. Go in with your own opinion. Just simply take that cinema in on your own, and don't say that everybody else made you not watch that movie you thought you would love, because you might have that difference of opinion. Never know.
All right, guys. Always great talking movies with you guys. Love everybody. Have a happy Easter. And don't forget, it's Good Friday in a few days. So do what you got to do, and we will see you next week for another new episode of La La Land on a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.